no matter what. I'm feeling great.
Om Shanti and welcome to Light of Knowledge. Have you ever found yourself defending your point of view? Or have you found yourself trying to prove to be always right? If yes, well, who hasn't? Many of these situations translate into conflicts and arguments in our everyday life. They could be petty kitchen fights or conflicts around world peace. Nevertheless, they take away something that's most precious to us, which is our peace of mind. In the conversation to follow, we will discover how we need to cope and survive an argument. With us in the studio is Sister Shreya from the Brahma Kumaris. Welcome to the show, Sister.
Om Shanti.
Well, Sister, we see conflicts and arguments at the workplace, at our home, in our relationships. It's almost like there are conflicts everywhere and not a drop of peace. Why do you think this happens, Sister?
Yeah, you're right. We can see this. It's become a habit these days, and some people kind of get a buzz out of arguing, and they feel they win an argument, they get a high. It's more like we have argument addicts all over. And I think this whole argument habit is because there's somewhere everybody has an opinion, and you are attached to that opinion, and you want to prove that your opinion is right. And when you're trying to prove that your opinion is right, it's more like a war sometimes, war of words. And that's where I think it's like you see it everywhere. Maybe you have a point of view and you've just kind of proved your point. So you kind of feel superior. And when you feel kind of superior, you kind of feel happy. You feel like you've proved a point. It's like we have an opinion, and everybody has an opinion. It's nothing new. But we are kind of very attached to our opinion. The other person also has an opinion, and they are also kind of attached to their opinions. So both the parties are trying to prove each other's opinion. So it's more like battling of words. It's sometimes you're trying to attack, sometimes you're trying to defend. So it's more like a war. And for other people, sometimes it can be totally an entertainment.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah.
But so we're just trying to win. Is that what you're saying? We want to win?
Yeah, because that winning kind of gives you a high. That winning an argument gives you a high. But a lot of us don't realize that sometimes in winning a point, we create a lot of anger also. If you see a lot of arguments, they're not a peaceful discussion.
Yeah.
And you can see people getting fearful that you may try to defend my point. They feel a little threatened that they will lose the argument. So you see them in a state of fear. At the same time, you can see a lot of anger. You see them getting irritated, frustrated. You can see the voice raising, and that's why, like you said initially, that you lose your peace of mind. So there are times that you can win an argument outside.
If you think of an argument, when you're trying to share your point of view, you don't really think of winning. Maybe winning is like something at the back of your mind. But you really want yourself to be heard. You want that person to hear what I'm saying. And you keep repeating yourself, again and again and again till that person really understands. Is that what you're saying attachment is?
Yeah, it is like we want to be heard, and which is fine. We want to make our point very, very clear. But you also have to see the other person. Sometimes the other person is not in that state, and you can see they just want to be heard. It's more like both the sides feel that they're right, and they want each other to hear the other person. But somewhere they're not able to hear the other person and just can hear themselves. And that's what the anger is. Anger is too much talking. It's only when you're peaceful can you hear. So sometimes when you really need to make a point clear, we need to also see that the other person is very relaxed and is peaceful. I actually feel if you see the other person going all up and down, it is better if we keep quiet in that moment. It's not that we don't make a point clear, but just for that moment, if we can listen to them, because they're also expecting the same thing. So if you see from their point of view, they're also expecting you to hear them. It's a little bit of humility and maybe a little bit of pure intention to just see what is their point of view. What do they want to clarify with the whole thing. And if we keep quiet for a while, listen to them, send them that energy of respect that, yeah, you have a point of view, more like that. I think there's a possibility that they will give you the same time and energy and they will listen to you.
But don't you think, sister, I mean, if I keep quiet in an argument,
Yeah.
and it could be in a relationship, it could be at work, I think the other person is really going to consider me to be somebody very weak.
Yeah.
That, next time I have an argument with you, this girl is going to keep quiet and I'm going to have my way.
See, weak is something if you don't put across your point.
Okay.
If you're more like submissive or in fear, or you just keep shut, where you have a lot of storm in your mind, you want to say things but you're not saying. Sometimes a lot of people feel that if we don't say things, we'll look like very obedient or very humble, or but it's not like that. We will put across a point. We're not weak. In fact, if you see in an argument, it takes a lot of courage to keep quiet then.
Actually, if I think about it, yeah, because you really have to draw in all your strength to not say something nasty back to the person when you're so tempted to say something nasty back.
So it doesn't take a lot of courage to say things back. It takes a lot of courage to actually be humble and listen to the other person. And like again, I'm saying, it's not that you will not put across your point of view. You will put across your point of view. But we have to see that the other person is in that state of mind where he's ready to listen to me.
Okay.
And it's like, it's the egos which are fighting, and the ego which is saying that I am right. It's the ego which is saying that you are wrong. It's more like that.
Yeah.
It's the ego which is not saying I am right and you are also right. But it's more like saying I am right and you are wrong and you better should listen to my point of view.
But that's true, na, sister. I mean, if one person is right, doesn't the other person have to be wrong?
I mean, just yesterday I was talking to my brother, and it was raining here, so I happened to tell him, I said, oh, it's raining, it's so wonderful, it's so nice. And he's like, nice? It's raining and it's nice? And I was so surprised, why is he looking so shocked? He said, I have to go to work, it's raining, people are less enthusiastic, I get less payments, it's not one of those days which I would like to rain. And that's when I realized there's something that you can really enjoy. It may be a very difficult situation for the other person. And you don't realize till you get into the shoes of other person and see and try to see their perspective. We're so attached to a perspective that we keep arguing that, see, I am right. It takes, like I said, it takes that kind of purity of intention or the humility and that kind of understanding that you want to understand the other person.
Yeah. But don't you think that, when you put yourself in somebody else's shoes, and you do it once, and you do it twice, and you do it thrice, I mean, aren't you going to be taken for granted in today's world?
See, what is the kind of energy that you're sending when you are accepting the other person? When I sit down and I listen to you peacefully, I listen to you with all the compassion, I'm listening to you, I'm trying to understand. So what's the energy that I send you? It's the energy of respect. Everybody wants to be accepted. So the moment but the very important is when you're sitting there and if only you're silent, in the sense you're not talking, but this is raging inside. There's a storm inside. So there are two energies which reach the other person. One is the energy that you talk, and the other energy is that you're thinking. And we can do both simultaneously. There are times we can think something different and we can talk something very different. So you may be saying a lot and you may be thinking something, but now when I say, okay, keep silent, so maybe we will not speak anything, but the mind is still going, why don't they understand my point of view? I'm trying to tell them, I have told them so many times, and the past comes back, and you want to say a lot of other things, So you try to keep quiet, but the intention is not very pure. So when this mind is like going, chattering, I don't think that you can listen to the other person. And the energy that you're sending to the other person is what you're thinking. It's the negative energy, it's the energy of not accepting the other person. So you have to tell your mind, for a moment, let me try to listen to the other person. Let me try to see their point of view. Maybe you can share a particular situation where you face this and we can see how to go about it in another way. Because in every situation, we have many, many choices.
Okay.
We have many choices. It's just we argue, we get into this habit, we feel happy and then we feel drained. And if you see in any relationship, if you argue over a long period of time, that relationship is not a very good relationship.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll won't stand the test of time at all.
Because every relationship, the foundation is trust, it's love, it's acceptance. And when you're arguing, you're sending rejection.
Yeah, but sister, when you're saying you don't say anything, and at the same time there's this mental chatter, you're thinking, you're sending that negative energy. But if I try stopping that mental chatter, it's more like suppressing my own thoughts, which is tough to do.
You're not suppressing the mental chatter. And in fact, the role of the mind is to think. So you can't really stop it. What I meant was not stopping the mental chatter, but consciously creating the kind of thought, a positive thought that will radiate the right kind of energy. For example, right now you create one thought that they never understand me. Every time there's an argument, they try to prove their point. And if I just keep quiet, they'll take me for granted. This is one of the chattering.
Yeah.
And if you just create another commentary, which you have to do it sometime, and you can do it consciously. You just say, okay, the person sitting in front of me is my daughter, the person sitting in front of me is my husband, and I really love them, and I'm sure they have a perspective to this. I may not agree to it, but let me listen to them. Maybe they have a better point of view, maybe they have something to say which I have not seen and I have not realized. Let me give them a chance to put across their point of view. So the moment you create this kind of commentary, you're more cool.
You are cool and you're sending that
You're sending
cool
that energy.
to...
See, what is the energy that you're sending? I respect your point of view.
Yeah.
Sometimes we say, okay, tell me what is your point of view. But we're so attached to our point of view, we just say it for the sake of saying it. It's not really a method to go about it, it's a genuine intention. Genuinely you want to hear them. Otherwise you can pretend this. You can say, oh, let me try another method. This time I'm going to keep quiet, I'm going to listen to them. But you can be very attached to what you have already decided.
Yeah, because you may feel, I hear your point of view, but I honestly think my point of view is better than your point of view. So that is this deep attachment.
That is deep attachment. And when you're very, very deeply attached to whatever is your point of view, the chances of getting hurt. The chances of getting hurt is because the person you're talking to, anybody who's in front of you, will have a different point of opinion, will have a different perception to whatever you're saying, which does not mean that they are wrong. It's just, which is their opinion, is different from yours. And they're not kind of insulting you or rejecting your opinion, it's just different.
Yeah, actually, that's very empowering. From being wrong to being different, I think it'll diffuse so many conflicts.
Yes, and that's the respect, no? And the most important thing is, whatever their point of view is, you don't have to agree with it.
Okay.
You just have to accept it.
So when I accept it, what am I saying to the other person?
For example, you're arguing on something like...
maybe I could do a scenario from my own life.
Yeah, maybe.
That'd be helpful?
Yes, why
okay,
not?
So maybe then you can advise me.
Yeah.
So I have a daughter who needs to be dropped to school.
Okay.
And I drop her to school every day. And one day I tell my husband, why don't you drop her to school? And he says, no, I have an important call and I can't do that. And I say, but you work from home. It's so much easier for you. Why can't you do that? So he says, no, I have a very important call and I need to be in front of my laptop. And I said, but then you can, tell them that you're in a position of power. You can tell them that you will reschedule that call. And, all of that got into an argument. So, and what happened, like, I can relate to what you're saying because both of us kept repeating our own
commentary.
Yeah. I kept saying my point of view. He kept saying his point of view. Yeah. And so what could I have done differently in the scenario?
More than the commentary, when you came to your husband to put across a request, you had already seen something in your mind. You'd seen a scene in your mind where you went up to your husband, and it's very subtle, it happens very fast. So when you go up to somebody to request, you have kind of already seen the scene in your mind where you went up to him, you requested, he easily accepted, he took the daughter, took her to the school.
Yes, I did the whole thing, correct.
And you've already seen it and it's already made you happy and felt like, oh, I have the right person, right husband, very cooperative, everything, so. The commentary is like that and a very powerful visualization behind it, all in my mind. Something which has not happened, something may happen and may not happen. It's a future that I've already created in my mind.
Yeah.
So when I go up to my husband and the future is a little different from what I have anticipated, it leads to an argument.
But isn't that good? I'm visualizing something positive.
Which is fine, as long as you visualize and not get attached to your visualization.
Attachment creeps in again.
Again, everywhere there's an attachment, there's hurt. It's fine to visualize anything that's going to happen in the future. It's fine to plan, but to get attached to it, because see, sister, you have control over your thoughts, feelings, and your decisions and your actions. You don't have any control over your husband's actions. Even though he's your husband,
Yeah, you don't.
he will take his own decisions. And maybe you just came in that moment, dropped a request. Maybe it was a very, very simple request, but you have no idea how important the work he's doing. So sometimes, because when I've seen all that scene, I want it to happen that way. And the moment it does not happen my way, I lose it. It's very subtle where I feel if it is going to happen my way, I will be happy.
Yeah.
I will be peaceful.
Yeah, that's true.
And the moment it is not my way, I lose my peace. But who said everything is going to be your way?
So in this situation, there was nobody wrong? Are you saying each of us were different?
All I'm saying is that both of you had a point of view. You could have requested, he could have refused, and then there was always a chance to go back and talk about it. So when the scene does not go the way I expect, I kind of lose it, and I lose the stability to talk properly. It's more like we get into an argument. What we can do is go into a discussion. Maybe in that moment we can leave it. Maybe in that moment, if you think what will help you, the best thing is to take care of yourself in that moment. So that day maybe you can decide, I can only go drop my daughter. But later in the day, it is always good to come back. It's always good to plan. It's always good to discuss. You can share that how for some days it's not possible for you to drop your daughter. Can you, it's very different when you have a discussion. You accept the other person. You accept that I can understand you might be busy at this moment, but just expecting to do them in that moment creates a lot of anger.
I think that was mistake number one that I did. I visualized it and I expected it and I got too attached to it.
Yes.
And maybe then now, if I have to look back and do that scenario again, I think I have to keep calm, is what you're saying. So stop the vocal noise. And how do I stop this? So what do I tell myself? Because in my mind, I'm saying, oh, he can't do this. He always does this. He never helps. So this is the mental commentary.
This is after the argument you're talking about?
So this is like during the argument when he says no. So I need to silence this noise as well?
You don't have to create this noise.
Okay, I don't have to create it.
You don't have to create this noise. It's very difficult to stop it. Once the noise starts, it's very difficult to put a full stop. The very first thought that comes in your mind, which is negative, it's very important to take a step back in that moment. See, argument is always when it's many, many, many thoughts and many, many, many words. It could have just stopped where you request him, and if he refuses politely, that moment you can decide, make a decision, do it yourself, come back and talk about it.
Okay.
Ego says now.
Yeah.
The beautiful word in Hindi for ego is abhiman, which says abhiman. Listen to me right now.
Yeah, it's like I want it to happen
I want it to happen right now. Do it my way right now, because then I feel superior, then I feel happy. And the more you try to, when we use this kind of approach, the other person feels very controlled. They feel the kind of force that comes from the other person. And even if they can do it, let me tell you, they will not do it.
Yeah, just to spite you.
Nobody likes to be controlled. Nobody likes to be possessed. Nobody likes to be told what to do. If it's a very nice request, and if it's possible for them, I think they will do it. But when it gets very controlling, you have to do it now, then it's like, even if you can do it, you don't want to do it.
Okay. So the moment these negative thoughts come in my mind, and you're saying don't start the negative commentary, I need to maybe speak something positive about him, say something?
It's more like you prepare yourself before.
Okay.
Normally we tend to have arguments with the same kind of people if you see in the day. They are the same people who press our buttons and who trigger that kind of feeling within us. And if you think there is somebody who you have this kind of relationship, so it's better to be a little prepared before you go to them. And you put in a request or whatever you need to talk, but you be ready for both the things. The visualization it is going to happen this way. Let the visualization be, okay, if this happens, I will be happy. If this happens, I will be happy.
So you visualize both the positive and the negative outcome.
It's more like you're prepared for everything.
Okay.
In the sense, your happiness is not kind of dependent on how things are going to be. I mean, if you look in the day, how many things anyways go your way?
Yeah, not many. Though you visualize everything going your way.
Yeah, because you want everything to be your way. You want the world to dance to your tunes, but it does not happen. And there's this kind of little programming which says, when things happen my way, I will be happy. When things happen my way, I will be peaceful. When I win an argument,
Yeah.
so it's so dependent.
Yeah.
And it's more state of mind. So you take care of the state of mind. Mind is like these thoughts. So you take care of your mind. And how you prepare is, either ways it is okay.
But it's
Either
not
ways
okay.
it is okay. Yes, it is not okay in the sense is not playing the role.
Yeah.
When I say either ways it is okay, it's either way okay, as in it's connected to my state of being. Either ways, whether he agrees to take the daughter to the school or he does not agree to take the daughter to the school, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be stable. I'm going to be peaceful. I'm not going to lose my calm because I can't control the other person, because in trying to control the other person, you're losing your control.
Over yourself.
Yes. See, it's so subtle. The moment from peaceful, you're becoming agitated. The moment from calm, you're becoming disturbed. Your energy is getting drained. In trying to control the other person, what's happening to you?
Yeah, I didn't think of it actually. And when you lose control, then you say things
You say things.
you didn't want to say,
Yeah.
and you'll be nasty.
Yes. So it impacts your state of mind, and you also kind of disempower the other person.
It really impacts me when I'm saying something nasty, because I feel very powerful, when I'm shouting, or when I'm in a position of control, when I'm saying something very aggressive to another person. I actually feel strong. And you're saying that it actually impacts me?
What happens after the argument? See, during the argument, you may feel very good because it's a buzz. It heightens your attention. The adrenaline goes through your body. There are too many hormones that are secreted. You feel very alert. And you may say very sarcastic. It's a very perverted form of joy. But you may say something and you see their face dropping.
Yeah.
So all this is kind of a stimulant that makes you feel very good for a while. But honestly, go back and see every argument that you've had. Once the argument is over, and even if you won the argument, what's the state of mind? How do you feel then?
I think even though I've won, I feel tired.
You feel tired. See, that's the point. That's the most important thing, that even after everything has happened, you feel tired. And do you want to argue again?
Yeah, then you feel like you need to replenish your energy to have another argument.
Of course, because it's an addiction. Once again it's happening, you're back into that mode, you're back into the defensiveness, you attack, you say things, you hurt the other person, and in the process you're hurting yourself so much. And you're also disempowering the other person. It's also going to impact the relationship over a period of time, because you're sending a lot of negative energy. When you're hurt, you say very nasty things to the other person. And sometimes the other person can be very weak and hold on to those things for a very, very long time. See, happiness is a state of mind, but if you not have that very cool and calm state of mind, you use some or the other stimulant. So you use argument as a stimulant, and when you prove a point,
you feel good.
You feel good.
Oh.
You feel good by putting somebody down.
So it's nothing but an external feel-good.
It's an external feel-good factor, and then you want to go back to it again and again and again. And sometimes if you see, you see somebody, you kind of say nasty things to the other person. You see their face dropping, and the others making fun of it. Sometimes I've also seen people do it to seek attention. When you're having this argument, and there's somebody you pick up, anybody, the sad day for that person.
Yeah, you're the subordinate.
The subordinate,
colleague.
could be a friend also. A lot of times you see all these friends sitting, and this person was able to make remark after remark, remark after remark, say something very sarcastic. All these people laugh. This person gets a lot of attention. A lot of times you can do it for attention also, because you get a lot of attention, you get a lot of appreciation. There will be somebody who will just say, oh, he always has something to say back, he's very good with it, he's very good with words. Something to say is very good with words. But the other person, their self-respect is very low, the confidence is low, they feel very left out, rejected, because that's the energy that you keep sending to that person.
So those were wonderful insights, sister. I think I could relate to most of them in my personal life. I'm very, very eager to continue this conversation in our next episode. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Om Shanti.
So viewers, I hope this conversation was as insightful to you as it was to me. I think one key takeaway that I go home with today is that in an argument, there's never a wrong. There's one who's right. There's the second who's also right. So it's always a win-win situation. Do join us when we continue this conversation in our next episode. Thank you and take care.